And what's the name of the guy who killed his father again?
Who killed his father?
With the knife?
Henry Bowers.
Henry Bowers, yeah. So his story goes nowhere. His best friend, like I said, I wanted them to have a scene where his best friend and him are where he's coping with the death of his best friend, the psychological trauma of his best friend being killed by Pennywise. Have a scene where they're sitting together talking about their lives and what they've been through, and but the second that he helps him escape with a car, he cuts a hole in the fence in the insane asylum. We see him driving out there. We never see his friend ever again, and there's no witty banter between them. What's the point of having him out there? He could just be some random guy that Pennywise controlled. It didn't have to be Henry Bauer.
Yeah.
He serves no purpose.
And
how the fuck do you?
That's the movie. Here, the movie should have get. I mean, here's the thing: you have 3 hours of a movie,
2 hours and 50 minutes,
and a lot of it is centered around these characters, just the losers. And the thing is, they also have flashbacks to when they were kids and they were adults. I think a lot of we've seen the story of the kids. I think they were trying to give them more.
They were just trying to put the kids. They're probably because they were contracted for one more movie.
I think it's just because they had a lot of scenes and they wanted to give the film more levity. But I think it could have been cut for I think it could have been cut and given more time for, more details about Derry, which they should have gone into. Again, Mike's whatever it is, Mike's little research, which goes into this whole Native American thing where they teach him the ritual of Chud. I personally could have. I mean, it would have been fine. It would have been fine if it was just, here's how to defeat it. It's the ritual. So and they do it.
How about here's what I would have done. Change it up a bit. So make it so that instead of burning the things that they cared about when they were children, how about burn the monuments of their hatred? Have a scene where Beverly is burning her first tampon because she how these would have been fun. In the first movie we see that she's buying tampons from a drugstore. She's really shy. She's shy and really ashamed of it because she's 13 in the first movie or whatever, and she's buying tampons. So it would have been funny if she kept that first tampon she ever had as a monument to her hatred. Have all the kids, the losers, have monuments of their hatred, burn in hell monuments to our hatred. Something poetic like that. Instead of these things that they cared about when they were 12, have things that bother them as adults. Beverly as an adult, or better, her ring. When her abusive husband beats her, she takes her ring off and throws it and puts it on the ground. Have a scene where they're taking all these things that they hate as adults, like her ring or her first tampon or Mike's glasses or not Mike's Richie's glasses. The things that they think hold them back in the world, and say this is a monument to our hatred, and then they say that they see that the hatred all it does is make it stronger, and then they band together and say if hatred makes it stronger, then maybe love can. I mean, that would have been cheesy, but at least it would have been developing from something.
Again, the ritual of Chud was the ritual of Chud, as Mike puts it, was just like a gazebo.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you bring it up. You bring it up as cheesy. That would have been a good.
Yeah. So point. In the movie, they say, hey, maybe if we don't fear it, then it'll be smaller, and we can make it smaller. You're not afraid of you. We're not afraid of you. We're not afraid of you. How would I have the scene where they band together and then they say, our hatred has torn us apart. You are a creation of our hatred. We let our hatred go. And the more they think about letting their hatred go, and we are friends, and we don't want to be hateful anymore. We respect each other. We have each other. We are
again. That would have set up a good point for Pennywise to realize that, for Pennywise to reveal that it didn't work because the real ritual was this and that and this and that.
There's a scene where they talk about how they're where they talk about how they're angry about stuff and about how they don't get along very well. And he feeds off their insecurities and inability to get along well. So when they finally say, when they finally say, okay, our hatred has you are born from the bonfire of our hatred. Now you will return to ash with the power of friendship. I mean, yeah, that would have been cheesy, but it would have been developing from something. It would have just been, we're not afraid of you anymore. Well, you're not afraid of me. No, okay, that's literally what it's like. So have a scene where that develops from something that's hinted at that can be like. I don't know, like that can be a euphemism for something. Is it euphemism or hyperbole? I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for is.
It's basically symbolic.
Symbolic, yeah, symbolic. Like we summoned you with the objects of our hatred. Now we destroy it. We destroy you along with the monuments to our hatred with the power of friendship. That would have been fun.
Yeah, what
it would have, and it would have been warranted because it would have developed. It would have been something.
I still like the movie for what it was worth. It looked pretty good.
It looked cool.
I loved the Stan Spider. The spider with Stan's face on it.
Or like what's the thing that he burns the rock, right? Mike burns the rock.
Yeah, Mike burns the rock that they had in the rock fight back in the again. You kind of have to watch the first movie.
Yeah. Here's another thing that sucks about this movie is it expects you to have knowledge of the first film. Here's the thing. This movie, like Avengers Endgame, was 3 hours long, but it evolved its world. Even if you've never seen any of the previous films, you can understand what's going on. Half the population of the universe is gone, and everyone's in a state of misery, and you feel for them. You feel because you have something you can strive for, and you have something that you can relate to with. Here, the characters are unrelatable unless you've seen the first one, and that defeats the purpose. I mean, yeah, it's a sequel, even if it's a sequel,
I beg to differ.
If it's 3 hours long, you should at least develop some of the characters so that you know them better.
I think if they took out a lot of the subplots, the movie would have been better.
I would like to say
because I really, I actually felt for the characters when they weren't, worrying about like weird about memories that we did not see in the first we didn't see in the first movie.
Yeah, and like there are some small things that would have made the movie much.
The first movie was simple and to the point. The second movie wanted to.
It was meandering. Was it meandering or neandering?
I think it was trying to elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah.
But they took things, but they took a lot of things from. I don't know. They added their own stuff. They changed a lot of the things, I think they did this just I think they added a couple of things just to rectify a lot of the things from the first book that happened as well, but they also kind of left it out. So what we get is
a 3 hour long slog fest.
It's an adaptation that kind of wants to be its own thing, but also wants to stay true to the book, but also is a sequel to the movie and
has a bunch of subplots that go nowhere. I don't know.
I mean, I still liked it for the way it looked. It's just that I could have gone, at least a lot of time either shorter or dedicated to other things.
Yeah, if you're gonna make it long, like Avengers Endgame was 3 hours long, and like I said, it's been the first half developing things.
Yeah, we get it. Avengers End. Yes, we get it.
Yeah.
But like, chapter 2 was basically kind of was more like chapter 2 and
1.5, I guess. You could
2.5.
2.5, really? Yeah.
It felt like it felt like it was trying to go back, but also go forward and find out.
One thing I did like was when James McAvoy's confronting his younger self. He's like,
I love that.
That was a good scene. Scenes of overcoming self-doubt, and that was something that was built up to and deserved. Okay, that scene was deserved. The scene where they just had this Deus Ex Machina and killed Pennywise with the power of courage was not deserved.
Oh,
nothing built up to that.
Speaking of which, the romance between Bill and Bev, a lot of it was there, but also not really. There was a couple of things here in the book. They do kind of detail a little. In the book they do detail it in the adult stories, and they add more to it. Here again, I would have liked to see more about of Bill and Bev, since they were like really close in the first movie, and in the and you know they end up with each other in the end.
Yeah.
I think there should have been more of that. There should have been more, time dedicated to.
And there's some small things that really kind of irked me, that really felt not only out of place, but they just a simple reshoot would have fixed it. Like there's one scene where Richie is trying to who's the guy who gets stabbed at Pennywise in the back, the guy who got stabbed in the face earlier,
Eddie?
Eddie, yeah. There's a scene where Richie is grieving over Eddie's death. He's like, we can still save him. And they drag him out by his neck like this. And then they manage to pull him up a 50-foot, well, and then he's not struggling anymore. And then when they get out of the house, he's struggling again. Like, how to have a scene where you knock him unconscious? That way he can't fight back, and he can't do that. Then have him wake up at the end. But instead, a simple reshoot of that one scene would have been said. Now we're supposed to be these two guys managed to drag a full-grown adult up a 50-foot well. Where they could barely. Just so.
I wouldn't worry about that because Richie is, as much as he picks on Eddie a lot, he still considers him a friend.
Yeah, just knock him out. Like I said, a simple reshoot of that scene. I don't want to be one of those film snobs like that scene could have been reshot better. This is a
come on.
I'm not. This is not. I'm not being a film snob. This is a critical scene or life or death situation that could have been handled better if they just simply had a scene where they knock him unconscious instead of having him flail. No, not this.
That minor detail. I think.
Yeah, it's minor, but it's at the climax of the film, the last 10 minutes of the film.
You're focusing too much on the details.
I know.
We basically nitpicked about every single plot point
when a movie is good, it's easy for you to forgive the small details. When a movie is bad, it's easier for you to notice the small details. This movie was not good. Therefore, I can notice things like that.
Well, you didn't like it. I personally liked it. It's not. Come on. It has the flaws, but I still think I still can enjoy it as somewhat of a follow-up. If not one half of an entire story.
Yeah. So one of the things that was fun was Stephen King made a cameo. I guess he's trying to be his own Stan Lee of his own horror universe. That'd be pretty cool. There's a scene where they reference another one of his movies, The Shining. Yeah, they referenced The Shining. That was pretty funny. So I guess maybe and we have Doctor Sleep, which is a sequel to Shining coming out in a couple months. So maybe Stephen King will make a cameo on that one. I guess he's trying to be it's funny if he would be the Stan Lee of his own horror cinematic universe.
A lot of the Stephen King books kind of connect with each other some way.
So I wonder if they're going to reference it in Doctor Sleep. That'd be fun. Then you have two movies referencing each other.
That's funny. That's a possibility. Yeah. King did kind of weave some ideas about all his books, kind of put together. So who knows what's going to happen? I just hope that this is it's. Maybe it's something bigger, but as of now, we have these two movies that are basically, one is, one is a straight up
horror action movie, and this one is
more.
It's so scatterbrained. I don't even know what genre it's in. Is it horror? Is it psychological thriller? Is it action? Is it family? Is it not family? I don't know. It's just so scatterbrained. It only has one of the original three writers from the first film, and you can definitely tell.
Yeah, that's what I. Yeah, the book switches from kid to adult perspective, chapter to chapter. So I was anticipating that they would handle it they would handle the adult story kind of in the same way as the kid story.
Yeah.
But and to be fair, they do a lot of the details could have been really great as a follow-up to the first movie. It's just that they wanted to add more, and it did kind of hold it down.
For me, like I said, the biggest problem was nothing in this film was earned. They just get what they want by saying like I want this or we defeat you with the power of courage, even though that was never hinted at in the first place. Like if this movie was structured in a way so that it was hinted at that the power of courage could destroy it, that would have been good. But here they just bring it out of the blue and like you're small because we think you're small.
Right.
I don't know.
Anyway, it's so. Yeah. I mean, what can I say? It is.
It's a fun popcorn film, but I'm not gonna see it again anytime soon, if ever. So.
I mean, you kind of have to or the first movie to really understand the second movie.
Just watch the first one and read fan fiction. That's what I do.
Or read the book. I mean, I don't know like if the adult story would have been great without the kid story. That's my little thing about it, and it's everything I expected. For better or for worse.
Yeah.